And we are live. Welcome back. My name is Random. I'm here with Santo, and we are going to be talking about episode 18 of season 2 of Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, Turning Point 3. How you feeling, Santo?
I'm doing good. By the way, everybody, happy Mother's Day. Hope
Happy
hope
Mother's Day. Make
hope
sure
hope take care of the moms. Take care of the moms. Just
even
saying.
like a single like flower. Don't be that person who gets a bouquet of roses. Get her a nice little card. Santo went to church. I got my mama a burrito and something else. Hey, we just living. We just
Yeah,
living over here.
yeah, they appreciate that. It's the finer things.
It's the finer things in life. But Santo, it's been a
Turn,
how you
turn.
feeling, man? How you feeling?
Um, I'm okay. Turning point three. Um, I guess I was kind of like bracing myself for a lot of sadness and whatnot, but I'm okay. I mean, we got a couple of things to talk about in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess I'd started off. Rudius cried, and it was finally happy tears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like thank God. the the guy literally used the word happiness. Like I'm happy for him. He needed a win, and life has been good. And then just two sentences, just like just put everything into question.
Yeah. So I think before we really dive into it, I think because we had a talk with Lonnie in the Telegram. I don't know if he's showing up. But he had some very poignant comments, which ironically, Lonnie, if you are listening to this, I agree with you about what you said. Right now, when we look at the previous two turning points, they were immediate. Right, turning point one, like Eris, Ghislaine, and Rudy were just in the field. They're about to do their graduate magic exam, and then the mana disaster happens. Right, turning point
Mhm.
two, they meet the dragon god, and Rudy dies.
He just ends up with a hand through the chest.
He's dead. He's dead. And if it wasn't for that Ahoshi, the story's over. like so, turning point three is gonna be one of those from now on where every turning point is a slow burn, right? Now, Santo, every time I've talked about the anime, would have been one of my biggest gripes.
I mean, you would have to say again, because I mean they don't have enough time. Um,
That's my biggest gripe.
yeah.
Is they just don't have enough time. Now, this ironically goes into what I mentioned with the first 4 episodes of season 2, where they covered volume 7, the depressed magician arc. Once again, and I will shout it from the rooftops. They should have just made that into a movie. Just make it Mushoku Tensei's Mugen Train, and the everything would have worked a lot better. Sure, are you gonna make some episodes like Demon Slayer did for Mugen Train in season 2? Yeah, but that means you got more time to either obviously flesh that out, but also give the beginning of Turning Point 3 a lot more love. The biggest problem with Turning Point 3 was that it was utterly predictable. For now, obviously you don't know, right? You're an anime only, you don't know.
Mhm.
Lonnie's anime only, but he's seen a lot. He's a dick, okay? Lonnie's a dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the problem was, and I'm gonna say this, in the light novels, even in the manga, this is such an agonizing moment for him. This wasn't like he just thought sat over for a night and then he changed his mind. This was an agonizing moment where Rudius has to choose between the birth of his child and his family. And obviously, when I think that episode really nailed that indecisiveness when it tried to, but the problem was they had to do it all in one episode, so it never hit the way it was supposed to. All right. And there he is. There he is.
There he is.
There he is. And
Oh,
Lonnie, just kind of recap a little bit. I agree with your problems with the start of Turning Point 3, but I will say this.
I don't
Every
have any
turning
problems.
no. With what you said about the episode itself.
Wait, let,
Now,
let him let him say what he said in the chat.
okay,
It
go
was
ahead. Go
okay.
ahead, Lonnie.
It was okay. It was a setup episode. Like it was
So,
okay. I don't. Am I supposed to be like, oh my god, that episode was amazing, 10
No,
out
no,
of
no, 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 no. That's not,
like
obviously, especially compared to the episode we just had last week,
yeah. I
where
won't say
like
last episode was peak, but
so,
the episode was fine. Like there was nothing wrong with it. I was just like, okay,
so what I said to Santo was with the first two turning points, they were immediate, right? Turning point one, the mana disaster, right? Immediately. Turning point two, they meet the dragon god and Rudy dies, right? Now, from now on, every turning point is a slow burn.
yeah.
But
So by default, this is the most boring turning point by default from what I've seen.
stop being a dick. Stop being a dick.
I'm not being a dick.
Stop
That's
being a
being
dick.
objective. That's being objective.
just
Stop being a
using
dick.
the word boring is kind of like dick like behavior. Come on.
It
You
was
know exactly what you're doing, bro.
it was the least climactic turning point so
What a
far.
bitch. What a fucking dick, bro. I
Am
swear
I
to God.
wrong? Am I wrong?
He's not wrong with
Who
that.
got a
but we-
letter? He got a
Hey,
letter, random.
hey,
He got a
hey,
letter.
hey,
Am I supposed to be
hey.
excited about a one sentence letter?
It was two.
Oh, I'm sorry, Santa. I'm sorry. 2 sentence letter. Oh, let me get hyped about some 2 sentences real quick.
This is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Where I agree with you a lot was that this episode was entirely predictable because they did not have enough time. If you've been listening to all the other ones, Lonnie, I've said that season 2 just is not going to have enough time, especially when you've seen like Fearing getting 31 episodes and blah blah blah. And I said the first 4 episodes of season 2 should have been a movie. It should have been its own movie crane, but it's over and done with now. The one thing I said with the source material was how agonizing this decision is for Rudy. Like this wasn't just a decision he had a night. We're talking he spent days on this, like and the fact that he talked to like everyone that he could have talked to.
I mean, I
Because
guess, but like we knew from the jump that he was gonna go. There was no way that he wasn't gonna go.
that conversation that he has with Norn at the end of the episode is so like impactful
It's
in the
crucial.
light novel.
At the same time, I knew that there was some way that he was gonna go. There was some way he was gonna go. There's no way he's not gonna go.
I got you, man. Either way, it's just the fact that Rudy at one point is like, do I witness like my kid getting born, or do I go save my family? And either one is like also either way, it's a path of regrets, right? And the fact that we got the return of the man god. We hadn't seen the man god since episode 4.
Mhm.
Since episode 4 of season 2.
He didn't really say anything. The man guy usually says something that's like really interesting. I didn't really. I was just
My
like,
guy
oh,
was trolling.
yeah,
He just started trolling at some points.
But he was being truthful because like he's like, yo, either you're gonna get fucked up or you're gonna miss the birth of your kid and miss the birth of the kid, or you're gonna be wondering what if or whatever. If I was Rudius, I would try to save my mom too, probably. I don't know. Actually, no, I'd be dealing with Taylor, so no, I'd probably stay home because I'm not trying to die. So,
shout out to Taylor.
Shout out to Taylor, bro.
She would fuck me up. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, like I agree. Last week's episode was a lot.
I think storytelling wise, it was actually a pretty good episode.
Good episode.
Like we haven't heard the name Zenith in a while, and the first time it's come back up, it's hey, shit's going down. Need help. Like we're finally trying to figure out what's going on with moms, and the first time we hear about her in a long time is like, it's looking bad. Like I need you.
Remember, this was sent a year ago. The letter was sent a year ago. So it's just like that image that Rudy has getting like sitting down after Sophie tells him that she's pregnant. And he has that vision of the whole family. Zenith, Lilia's there. Him and Paul are sharing a drink. And I'm like, oh. And I just want to be like, you know what? It's such a great thing. And it's like one of the few times we've seen Rudy's family all together. Like everybody. So just like, oh, that's such a great visual. And then immediately to like, he wakes up and he's like, bruh.
I am slightly looking down on Rudius for this episode for another reason. When his sister was talking to him,
Mm.
the way he worded his response to her,
I was waiting for someone to bring that up.
I was just like, "What do you mean by that, nigga?" I was like, "Yo, you already got the tax. Don't add another tax on top of the other tax." Because he's like, "Yo," because when he said, "Oh no, Paul would kill me," nigga, what about what? What does Paul have to do with this situation? No, this is no. What? Wait, so Paul wasn't around? Sir,
No, this is where like last week in the BSS episode, I was like, this is one of my problems with Rudy.
yeah, no, I was just like,
Like
Rudy,
the simple answer was like, no.
like Rudy,
Why the fuck would you add all the extra shit to it? Like, what are we doing?
Lost some points because this is like.
But I will say
I know
this:
Kaneki would never.
well,
Kaneki wouldn't even entertain that conversation.
yeah, we saw Kaneki. Just let me stop. We don't need to start. We're not starting this. This is not a Kaneki versus fucking Rudius debate. We're not doing this today. But
let it go, Lonnie. Let it go.
Like, but what I loved most about the episode was that we really got like the first half of the episode, like a status report on everybody, right? Rudy, was it Cliff's research is going on. Chastity Belt, Metal Chastity Belt is crazy, but if that's what's going to defeat Elitaliz's curse,
is she still
that's
gonna
what's going to
go
beat
or
the
she gonna
curse,
stay now?
huh?
Is she gonna go or is she gonna
She's
stay?
going. She's going no matter what.
Yeah,
Is she
she's
still
going.
gonna break up with dude?
I'm not saying anything.
Uh,
I'm not saying anything. Wait for the next episode. But we got to see that Aisha is she's
goat.
a
She's the
she's
goat.
so crafty. She's a if she wasn't like a maid, she'd be making money somewhere.
Norn could never. Norn could never.
Obviously, we see Norn and Rudy's relationship work out better because she's at school now. She's finally like showing some affection, and the fact that she's counting on Rudy, like, hey, I'm having problems, this little thing, like, hey, let's fucking help me out with these problems in the library. We see Nanahoshi and Rudy now. She's like, okay, we summoned the water bottle, which by the way still makes me laugh when Cliff's holding it and he's like, what is this? How come I've never seen this before? And he was examining it. So then we see, like a little thing, the water bottle is just propping up a flower, but now she's like, now we're gonna summon something metal, then we're gonna work up like a flower, then maybe a small animal, then working our way up to eventually going back to Japan. And the fact that they addressed the fact that like, yeah, I'm trying to get back to Japan specifically because what if I just pull up to like the Netherlands? How the hell am I getting home from there? So we see Cliff, or not Cliff, Zanova's like he's good with his figurines. And shout out to him. He's my MVP of the episode.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because of his talk with Rudy when he's going around asking for help. And he's like, look, man, I'd love to go with you, but I've never traveled like that. So I'd slow you down. But I would do everything I can to defend your family from harm. Right. And he's like, I can't tell you what decision to make, but knowing you should if you feel uneasy, you should go. And just that talk with him shows why Zanober's like one of Rudy's closest like confidants, because he knows Zano will tell him the truth, even though most of the time Zano was just glazing Rudy, right? But when he needs to get serious, he can. We see Ginger, the other person who came with Rui Jerd, when they brought Norn and Aisha, she's there and she's like she's his knight, like sword knight. And the fact that he kind of has his own little thing going on too, right? With Julie's working out, Ginger's there. So everybody just kind of their lives are going on. And then the one person that kind of held them together has to go. Right. And now I think everybody's at a point where they don't need Rudy as much, right? Even though Cliff is like, hey, can you wear this so we can figure out the mana stuff, right? Or Nanahoshi with her experiments and things like that. But everybody just kind of moving on. Everybody's living well, and then that letter shows up and you're like, fuck.
No, that was cool. Like the fact that, like I was saying, like it was just everybody's finally in a good place. Everybody, like he said, it's maybe moving slowly, but it's a step forward when he says that, like everybody, you see everybody's progressing, like everybody has their roles, everybody's doing their thing. I mean, like I said, Aisha is the MVP for me.
Mm.
The fact that she takes care of the house, she goes shopping. Now she's gonna start planting and growing crops, and take Sylvie to um, the doctor's appointment. All of that, like like you need somebody like that.
Plus her
um,
little flex on Norn, by the way.
100%. That's why I said Nordcore never. But anyways, but
Leave Norn alone.
Yo, Norn,
I'm just
I wasn't
Nord.
here last week, so I didn't really get to say it. I know I said it in the chat. Norn is one of the best. That episode like made her to me one of the best written characters I've read in a long time.
Like
I
I told
mean,
you, a lot of
it
people
was good.
hated Norn. A lot of people hate Norn until they get to that part of the story where it's perfectly encapsulates why she's the way she is. The the lack of
Say what
self-esteem,
you
the
want about her character,
envy.
but just the writing and the description of her negative feelings and why, and like the root of it, and like why she feels this way. So then the confusion because that is her brother, and she has that natural connection with him, but at the same time, the way that they were introduced was, of course, not the best.
So piggybacking off of that,
Mhm.
if no like if Norn doesn't speak to him, he doesn't go, because I think it showed it's kind of like showing back to the previous episode, like everything that he's done to like mend that relationship, or
Mhm.
establish, not even mend, to establish the relationship, is like, my dad is in help and you're not going, like after all of this you're still not gonna go. And as soon as he saw that, I think that's what pushed him over the edge. If Norn doesn't talk to him, Rudy stays.
I think in a weird way, it's the fact that Rudy basically stayed up all night, and um I think the one thing we got to say, Norn understands why Rudy is choosing to stay. She
Mhm.
completely understands that, but that's her dad. That's their dad. And the fact that let's keep it a stack too. Norn was going to go.
Yeah.
I mean, she was gonna die on like barely making out the city, right? But she was going to go and try to go help her dad, right? And like I said, that conversation between Rudy and Norn was so impactful, so great. And the fact that Norn immediately, she's like, you know what? Fine, I'll stay. I'll help out as best I can. Norn even adjusts her school schedule so that she even comes home even more because obviously Aisha can do a lot, right? But she's still what 12 or 13, whatever, So no one comes in. It's like a community effort to take care of Rudy's family while she's gone. Remember, Nanahoshi still comes by to take baths, right? You know, and she talks with Sylphie a lot, even though Santo, I've talked with you offline about how Sylphie and Nanahoshi, their whole vibe.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously Xano was coming by. Elena Lies comes by a lot too because Sylphie's her granddaughter.
Grandma.
So there's just a lot of things going on, but looks like next week, the next episode is called The Desert Journey, which now I'm sitting there worried because what I wish they did was that you get everything, and then the episode ends with Rudy getting the letter.
How many episodes do we have left?
It's gonna be 20. It's another 12, so we have 6 more episodes. So they're gonna do. So I feel like they're gonna do. Rudy's gonna load up and get ready to go next week. I don't know if I don't know if he'll make it all the way to where they are next week, but it's called The Desert Journey for a reason. So they're gonna do. Obviously, I know, and I'm trying not to spoil, but I'm very disappointed that they should have made Turning Point 3 like 2 episodes. That agony that Rudy goes through in the light novels is very important because it's such a big decision, especially now that the man god showed up. And he's like, "Hey, if you stay, like you get to see the birth of your kid, and you add another person to harm with one of them beast girls. They both want you, low key. Blah blah blah. They're gonna challenge you. What's going on here? But like Sauce, I already said. By the way, Sauce, welcome. I already sent you the link. You should be up here because he also said he had questions. So Sauce, when you have a chance, get up here. But it's gonna be very interesting to see what they do next episode.
I will say that being someone that hasn't read the story or anything, I think they showed the agony pretty well. Of course, I mean, like for the people that have read, they probably see all the extra stuff that was omitted or whatnot. But I think the episode handled it pretty well. I do have one thing that really stood out to me was who wrote the letter. Because it wasn't Paul. It
Mhm.
was what was his name? Gaius or Geese?
They call him geese in the Japanese pronunciations like Jisu because it's technically
Yeah, but
Gisu, but it don't freaking matter.
G- it- but yeah, I've that I found odd. I was like, why was it him that wrote the letter and not Paul?
Hmm.
So I mean, that's the biggest question I have moving forward, because all the other letters have been from Paul.
Hmm.
So like, why is it him?
I mean, like you remember what Rudy said? He's like, why did he send it? Maybe Jesus not there yet, or maybe like Paul is not Paul just couldn't send it at the time, or maybe it was just easier. Like he went through all these things in his head. Um, if I'm thinking correctly, there's no real reason that I can think off the top of my head why he sent it. Because for we're presuming, because we did see who it all is in Paul's party, right? We saw
Mhm.
Roxy was there, Tallahan, members of Paul's old adventuring
Hold it,
party,
yeah.
and Geese was there.
Mhm.
So I just think it was like maybe it's like, no, hey man, can you just send the letter? It's a couple word, a couple sentences, it's fine, you know. And even Paul said in his earlier letters, like, I'm not good at doing this. So
Ouch.
um either way. Lonnie, if you're here, can you tell us your MVP of the episode?
Sylvie.
That's true. She showed you why she's one of the best. She showed you why she's one of the best, man.
No,
When
I mean,
she's immediately like, hey, you can just kind of you can go. It's okay. Let me tell you this right now. Eris not letting that happen. She might swing on him. She might swing on him if she
Nah,
even thinks like
she would go with him.
no,
Eris would try, but she can't.
Eros would probably try, but at the
She
same
can't.
time, I
She
could see
just
her
can't.
beating his ass too.
Yeah, she would beat his ass. She's like, you're leaving and start swinging like she's not pregnant.
Nah, I got Aisha as the MVP. She
So
does so much.
So Sasavelli, my question was this though: is there a reason why the man God plays with Rudy's mental so much? Because that's what he does. Like from the moment you meet the man God, like Rudy, we're just like something about this guy I'm fucking like, you know. That's just who he is, you know. And he's always been somebody that I'm always been very wary of, right? And obviously, as you go through the story, you learn why, right? But that's just how he enjoys that he can just kind of remember only certain people can even see him, so maybe he's just enjoying the interaction itself, and this is how he chooses to interact with people. So the fact that um he just shows up after we haven't seen him for damn near a full regular anime season, and he's like, hey, congratulations on the kid, man, but you should probably stay. Like, you should probably stay. Like, you're gonna miss out on the birth of your kid. And what makes the man God so, I guess, compelling or whatever is that he's right. He's right in what everything that he said. He was right, but at the same time, you're like, man, fuck this guy. At the same time, you just don't like him. We've all met that person when you're like, I don't care what it is this guy's saying, but I just don't fucking like him, and that's who the man God is.
I mean, objectively, he is right. So, but at the same time, you know that there's always shit that he's just not telling.
It's that the half truth type thing. Like he always speaks in very vague things. Like he always says like what you should do, but it's like why should I do that? And it's always the mind games there that he starts playing. And
That's who he is, man. That's who he is. He's just a dick. He's like Lonnie, except Lonnie will at least give you like like he'll tell you everything, you know.
Yeah, I tell
Lonnie
you
will be
everything
like,
because there's nothing you can do about it.
but like he's just a dick all the time. And the fact that he does that trolling way when he's like, as he's walking away, like he starts
Yeah.
teleporting away from Rudy in that world. And I'm like, come on, bro. Hey, Aaron, we all know. Like, if I saw the man guy right now, I'd swing on him. The way Lonnie wants to swing on Deku, who's a literal child with unimaginable power, I'd swing on the man god, and
You would swing on a god.
I would swing on him because he's an asshole. He's just a terrible person. But I guess to kind of wrap it all up, how are we feeling about the episode itself? Can you give me a rating out of 5, and then we can start maybe talking about what you guys think of the desert journey. How you guys feeling?
I gave it like a 6, 7
out of 10.
Yeah, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Santo.
Lonnie sounds so enthused.
Like, nothing. Like, he got a letter. We knew that he was going based off his reaction from the letter, and then they alluded to like them trying to have kids for a while. So I was just like, okay.
This was literally a slice of life episode.
I also blame Miranda for this because he's like, "Oh, it's coming, guys! It's coming! The turning point. This is the episode. This is the episode." And it was a fucking letter. Nigga, fuck you.
First of all, if you're gonna quote me right. I said the labyrinth arc. I said the labyrinth arc, not the turning point. The labyrinth arc. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the previous BSS episodes. So fuck you, bro. Misquote me.
Anyways, moving on.
I'm giving it a 5.
Now you're just petty because you misquoted me, and now you're punishing the story for it. Go fuck yourself, bro. Give it a 4. Give it a 4 because I know you want to say it.
Now I'm giving it a 3.5. There you go.
Okay, just petty because you're bad. Petty. You're bad. You're mad at me because you said the quote wrong.
I was kind of waiting for him to give it a 2 now. But anyways,
no, man, 1.5.
I give the episode. I'm kind of with Lonnie, like 6.5. I would give it.
Last episode was a 10.
Absolutely.
Nah.
Absolutely was.
It was like an 8.
You just don't like Nord, bro.
Norn sucks.
You just don't like her.
Suck, but the writing of the character.
You know why she sucks.
And the deep dive in the psyche, like no matter who it is, the deep dive to that depth of anybody's psyche, I would give it.
I got you.
Writing, I don't.
Rudius was a better character written in that episode than Norn, personally.
Nah, I disagree.
We can disagree, but I mean you're wrong, but okay.
Not wrong about this.
I would give it a 6.5. I think like I was telling Random, like you actually got to see Rudius cry happy this time.
Yeah, but the only reason why I say it's close because I did like Rudius's writing in that episode, but a lot of it was not self-inflicted. It was him dealing with like a lot of his past trauma, and like he wasn't. I did like how at first he wasn't dealing with it in a healthy way, and then he bounced back. But at the same time, it was like
he was ready to fuck those kids up in that class.
No, yeah, he really was. He was about to destroy everybody. But I was just like, you're letting your. I don't like it when people let like their trauma define them when it's not their moment to. How do I say? It wasn't his situation to freak out over it. He was like, there was a point in time, like in the beginning, where he was making it about him and not about her. And that's why I was just like, that's why I knocked a few points. Eventually he turned it around, yes, but I knocked a few points because that in the beginning he cleaned it up, yeah, but he made it more about his emotions and his background, like, oh, I went through this, yada yada yada. So of course she has to be going through the same thing, yada yada. But at the same time, it's not about her. It's not about you. It's not about your experience. It's about her experience. If you want to assume it's bullying, fine. But at the same time, there's different factors. One, this is a whole different world. 2, you're a guy, she's a female. So the bullying on that sense is also different.
I mean, the reason, okay, so we're still talking about the previous. So the reason I gave it to Rudy is because I do agree with you that in certain points that he was making it about himself over Norn, sure, but to see it come full circle to him going like, oh, I was bullied, I was this, and then he realizes, oh, it's because of me that she's getting all of these things. So yeah, it goes back into the self-inflicting, and then it ends up to where he goes into her room and he has that pause, like, what should I say? And then he acknowledges that it's not about me, it's about you. So he says, I'm sorry. Like that to me brought it over the top.
Like,
But
it was close. Like I would give his writing like a 8 or a 9, and then hers was just a 10.
This is why I want to. This is why I want Ty to catch up to the story because he can tell us, like with his kind of author brain, how it works, like how he would feel, especially about Norn's perspective in the last episode and things like that, or even how the author accomplished this conundrum that Rudy found himself in the episode. Like, do I really leave my the family that I've started to go rescue my mother? Realistically, think about that for a regular person. That's such a hard thing to do. Do you
Eh,
go witness the birth of your child, or do you go try to save your mother? And if and Zenith is one of the most pure characters in the show. Let's not keep it. Think about the last time you really saw Zenith. She's just a great person.
so
She's
is
somebody you
Sylvie.
just want to protect at all costs. One of the few people who's even sweeter than Sylphie.
Mm,
She just like but we know when she's fucking, she's all in. Let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it a stack. She be fucking too, but she's great. She's just a great person. I mean, am I lying, Sancho? Am I lying?
anyways, no, like being anyways, let's bring it back on track.
Oh my god, bro.
Being a dad, I couldn't imagine leaving my wife while she was pregnant, even if it was my mom. Like I can't imagine that. My firstborn, and I got my two younger sisters with me.
I'd understand if
Like,
they were by themselves, Lonnie or Santo, but they
mm-mm.
clearly have a support system. Hell, one of them is a princess. One of the member support system is a princess, but we don't even talk about that. But it's still, even then, like I definitely agree because obviously me and Lonnie don't have kids, so we don't know. We don't know once once you have a kid how that changes you. So you wouldn't leave. You were Rudy. You would stay.
I'm staying.
So me, I
I, I'm
obviously I
actually
know, so I
I'm
would
actually
go.
with Santo on this. I'm with Santo on this
I'm
because
staying.
I've ever since I was a very young kid, I viewed relationships like that. Well, in terms of family like this, like your parents and everything like that, that's like your base family. But like your future established family is like, of course, like with your wife, kids, stuff like that. That's more not necessarily a choice, but that's like the next step of your life. So it wouldn't make sense because I think about things very logically and objectively. As much I love my mom more than anybody in the world except Taylor, of course. But I couldn't
Hey,
imagine.
about to come in there too. Start swinging.
No, well, I was like, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine, like from an objective standpoint, like if I'm playing a video game, I'm not going to go back and impede something that's already going forward. If that makes sense. Like I'm
Okay.
not going to stop the. I'm not going to miss out on the progression of my life to save something from the beginning. That's just how I view it.
No, I completely see what you're saying. It's like me, my belief is even in, and I, like I said, I went to church this morning, and the gospel says that when you get married, you leave your family and become family with who you're with now.
Exactly.
So it's like, yes, my mom is family, but now she's more of a relative. Now I have my own family to take care of. And unfortunately, this takes priority over you. Like, I'm not to bring down your role that you've had or whatnot, but my kid is on the way. my offspring, the one that passes on my lineage. Moms, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to figure it out.
So, hold on, let me answer this. Let me answer this, folks. Sauce, if you got your theory ready, type it in the chat, and we'll talk about it. And Aaron, to answer your question, and I've mentioned it a few times, my favorite arc is the depressed magician arc. It's basically that arc after Eris leaves, and he's just on autopilot, basically. That's how Rudy's living, and he's the lowest he's ever gonna be. And he's so low, he ruins. Sarah's a great girl, Santo. She's a great girl, little impulsive, right? She got a little Eris in her, but she's a great girl, and she ironically just met Rudy at the wrong time,
Hmm.
and it's just one of those where it's like a lot of people have like, I remember I dated Lisa, she was a great girl, I just wasn't ready,
Hmm.
or something happened, and that's just what happened to Rudy. And
You all been there.
yeah, we've all been there, and that's why, like, and a lot of people. So I had this conversation with somebody. Like, remember when Sarah leaves after, he's trying to boast. A lot of people love Turning Point 4, Aaron. A lot of people love Turning Point 4, but that's 4 years, maybe a couple years away from Turning Point 4. But he's talking, then Sarah gets there because he's trying to kind of flex and boast, right? Sarah slaps him, says, "I don't want to see you anymore." And Rudy was legitimately gonna die. He was gonna, if Soldot's not there, Rudy's dead on the street. And that just shows you how low he got. So that's why it's my favorite. And that's why it gets its own manga, which I hate that they're doing the same thing right now. The desert journey that we're going to see it next episode, it's not in the actual Mushoku Tensei manga. They're skipping that whole part and just going like to when Rudy shows up to meet Paul. So I'm just like, why would you keep doing that? But then they're just going to make another spin-off manga of that entire arc. And I'm like, what the fuck? So but the questions I wanted to ask both of you, is Rudy wrong for leaving?
Oh, from a projective standpoint, yeah.
Santo?
It,
Have they even been married for a year yet?
Yes.
No, so it's already been a year. No, that doesn't
It's-
really change my answer, but
I,
yeah, no.
I think
I will say real quick, Santa. I will say this because of this one caveat. Because I think it was last episode or the episode before, she said that like her kind have issues with childbirth, and just for the fact it's like, oh, they have trouble conceiving and keeping the child and stuff like that. If that's the case, then this is an even more difficult situation, and I would feel like I'm more needed.
Yeah, but Sylvie won't mention that to him because of her character. At
Yeah.
that point, yeah, she's like, "You can go, it's fine." I would say, is he? The question.
Remember, Sophie's not a full elf. She's half elf.
Yeah, no, but that's what she told him in the episode, like the last
Mhm.
episode. She's like, I kind of have trouble conceiving, and they have trouble with childbirth and things like that. So it's like,
So they don't know what's gonna happen during type thing.
yeah, and you already know.
Is he wrong? I don't think he's wrong, but I mean, I can it's like it's understandable why, but I would stay. I don't know if that answers your question because I don't think it's wrong, but I don't think it's the best. I don't think it's the best route to take. I think he should have stayed.
See, every time I read that part of the story, I switch every time. It's easy. Anybody who's read the story, it's easy to pick one of the two options, right? It really is. Especially when you know what's going on. But if you're just looking at the decision objectively, I don't know if I would leave. Knowing that my wife, who's an elf, there's always problems with childbirth. She knows Elena lies. The one thing about Elena lies is that she doesn't lie to Rudy. So she's like, look, I had problems when I gave birth, right? So it's just like, I don't think I would leave, right? Remember, he's learning all these things from Sylvie, how to become a better healing magician and all that stuff.
Also, real quick, there's technically an easy workaround. They said send help. They didn't say you show up. They said send help.
Who can he send?
He probably could have sent the cat girls if he needed to.
They can't go. They're heirs to their beast kingdom. They can't go.
Who was the one? The god with the 4 arms.
The demon god.
Yeah.
How? But then it's more of a one. Rudius is not going to put anyone in harm's danger. He'd rather take it on himself. Two, just to get, let's say, a letter out to the Demon King, it's gonna take what, a year?
No, remember the Demon King's at school.
Yeah,
The
Oh,
god
he's
is
at school. Oh,
Yeah, he's at school. Now the question is, would he even
would
go?
would he?
Would he even go?
And do you trust him enough to do that?
You could try it. I was gonna say a lot of people will say Ruijerd, but like, can you find him? Remember, he left like the night after. He was like, I'm gone. I'm gonna go keep trying to find my people.
Rudius's moral compass is not gonna allow him to send anybody when he can go.
Remember, Zanoba can't go. He has like his own little thing going on. His family, his own little family going on. Cliff can't go. He's gonna be the Pope. Nanahoshi definitely ain't going.
Yeah.
Can you find Soldat? Where's his people? So it's just it's such a hard it's just such a hard decision. All right, so I got one more question, and then we'll talk about. So Sausavelli's theory is like Rudy is going to have some sort of infidelity during the journey. How do you guys feel about this?
I mean, if he meets his master, then I could see that happening.
Well, his master's with Paul, so he's not going to meet her.
Well, isn't he going to link up
He's
with Paul?
going to Paul.
He's going to Paul, so
Yeah, so I'm saying
Yeah,
at
so
some point,
she should be there.
at some point during that journey, I think he's gonna try to hook up with her. That just makes the most sense.
I'm not That's a good question.
That's crazy to say when you saw him just like, look, I'm with Sylphie. I'm not Jesus Christ early. What the fuck? Lottie, you seen it?
What? No, yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. That's what I'm talking about.
Jesus Christ. But remember, Rudy had this big declaration about how he feels about Sylphie to the man god. Because the man god's basically like, just hook up with one of the two. One of them's a cat, one of them's a dog. Hook up with the two beast girls, one of them. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm with Sylphie now. So,
well, you see, even that conversation with the man god would make me more hesitant to leave, because he said if you go, that pretty much something bad's gonna happen. Like, what if that bad thing is like you lose your child? Like that'd be the first thing I think about. Like, what if something happens to Sylvie during childbirth and Sylvie dies? Like, nah, I'm chilling.
it's just the ultimate conundrum. But anyway, guys, Jesus, we went on for a lot longer than I thought. That was our review of episode 18. Yes, Aaron Orsted's character design is peak. There's a reason why every time you see him, everybody freaks the fuck out. But we will see you guys next week for episode 19, the Desert Journey, where we're presumably going to get Rudy's journey to try to get to Paul and to see what's going on with his mom. But we'll see you guys next week. Anything else you guys want to add on the way out?
It was a letter.
Just trying to be nasty.
Okay, he said it was a letter. Aisha is better than Norn. Norn can't even walk down some stairs without falling. Aisha
was carrying.
Listen,
no, add the context. I'm not gonna let you just slander her like this. Add the context, Santo.
It was early in the morning, and I was carrying a backpack, and that
was more than a backpack. She was preparing for a year-long journey.
Aisha is taking care of the mansion. She is carrying Sylvie to all her prenatal exams.
She's the better person. She's not the better written character.
Norn could never. Walk down some stairs before you can talk to me.
Oh my God, we just slandering Norn. This is crazy. Lonnie, I agree with you. Aisha's the better person, but she's not the better written character.
She's a better character. She's just better.
There's nothing better about her.
She can walk downstairs better.
Yeah. She wasn't carrying everything.
Aisha wouldn't have fall.
No, we're not going to do this. All right, we're not going to do this.
She wouldn't have fall.
We will see you guys next week. And make sure you pull up to the BSS on Tuesday. We're talking our most underrated anime. Santo's going to be there. Moon Peach is going to be there. We're going to be busting out some of our animes from the vault. And I know Lonnie's probably hating because, you know, he likes to gatekeep a lot, but not this week or not next week. He got to open up the vault. And I got some for y'all that y'all can easily find. So I can't wait for next Tuesday. It's going to be a great episode because we finally get to educate the heathens who only watch shonens. We finally get to educate them, Santo and Lonnie. We finally get to.
Yeah, I'm still gatekeeping like my most precious anime, but like I still got my roster is deep. My roster is so deep. I made my list tonight, like a few hours ago. Like y'all, some of y'all probably never heard of this, but then when you look at it and you see how many episodes or seasons it has, you'll be like, "What the fuck?"
I'm about to. I got a good stable of 10 anime that I'm like, okay, if you just want to either want to get into or you're just a seasoned guy, you're looking for something new, I got a good stable of 10. I got more. I'm always gonna gatekeep like Lonnie, but those are like the most ones where I'm like, ooh, this I can only I maybe have like one or two where I'm like, Lonnie, I can only like introduce this to certain people. Like apparently Lonnie got a whole freaking shelf. So anyway, guys, we will see you guys on Tuesday. Make sure you like and subscribe on the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe on BSS. Tell your friends. Make sure they tell their friends to join the BSS. And it's been so much fun. Thank you guys for all the support. And we will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Peace.